this one is, like, you may notice, like, the change in background. So I'm settled into my dorm. I should have a dorm tour up pretty soon. I'm not positive when. I've filmed it twice already, and both of those times the video got messed up. So I'm gonna try a third time and hope it does work. Alright. So this one's going to be my pros and cons of having a service dog video. These are things that I've experienced in real life, or like with a service dog through my time, or they're things that like other people have like said and been like, oh hey, that's what I've dealt with and that's what I found as a pro versus that's what I found as a con, and that's what this is. If you notice me like looking down, I have notes here because I'm filming on my phone, so I can't like look at Instagram for people's responses, as well as I don't want to forget anything for me. Okay, so I'm going to start with pros of having a service dog because there are a lot. So my first pro, I'm going to start with ones that like people sent in because I didn't have a bunch of responses. I just sent these in like a group chat just to see. So first is from L3AV3 period with period M3, and it said, she said, even if the dog washes, you still have a best friend. And like, that's so true. Like, even if, you know, if you don't have, if you have like a service dog, then you have a best friend with you like basically 24/7 because they literally go everywhere with you. But even if they wash though, then you've got a service dog at home, like, you know, or depending on what they washed for. But even if it just leads to them being a pet at home, then you've still got a very strong bond with a dog and a new best friend that's gonna be there no matter what. All right. So from my /barrel racer /Katie, it says, or she said, being able to live like a non-disabled person. So you still have like your disabilities, but you know, you can go do day-to-day things with, you know, yeah, you have a dog by your side, but you're still able to do everyday things that normal people can do, and you don't have to have like a person with you. Or maybe there's things that you weren't able to do before that you're able to do now, you know, stuff like that. Next is having a loving partner at all times, and that helps more than most people or meds. With this, for me personally, like a service dog was my last treatment option. So I had tried meds, like different meds. I had tried, you know, having like a care person. It was my grandparents, but they like, you know, took care of me and stuff, and that didn't work. And for me, like a service dog did more than anything else. And I was, you know, obviously like that's my treatment option. And I mean, yeah, I still take meds, but I know I'm definitely not taking as many as I was. I'm definitely not, you know, as bad about stuff. I know like Aries will remind me to take my meds, which helps a ton because I'll forget. Even if I have like 5 timers set on my phone, I'll still like completely forget about needing to take my pills. All right. Next is buying them fun gear. Of course, like I said buying, but you can make also. But you know, all of, you know, you can dress your dog up, you can dress them down, you can, you know, have this cute vest, you can have this school themed vest, you can have a sports team vest, a band, you can have, you know, different colored harnesses, you know, all that kind of stuff. You can throw on bandanas. You know, I definitely like, I'm personally a gearaholic, and that's because of how many different variations you can do. You know, you can never have like, you know, yeah, you can make like 2 vests that look exactly the same, but honestly, like the possibilities with them are endless. Same with capes and like harnesses and stuff, of course. All right, so the next thing is independence. This is a huge thing. I think this is probably like the biggest pro there is to having a service dog, is the fact that it gives you your independence back. For me personally, I couldn't go into stores by myself. Like, you know, I had to take my grandma with me or something. And with him, like with Aries, having him, I'm able to do more, like, you know, more independently. Like, yeah, I'm independent with the dog, but that's better than having a person there. All right, in my opinion. Like, all right. So the next thing is you always have an excuse. With this is a lot of like service dog handlers will say, and it's kind of like whenever, for me personally, like I have anxiety, like that is a big thing, and if I start feeling really uncomfortable in a crowd, a situation, or like I'm getting bombarded by people that I don't like want to talk to at the time, or I don't know, you know, there's just too many questions, then I can go ahead and say, you know, be like, oh, hey, look, Aries needs to go to the bathroom, I've got to go. Or be like, oh, my dog needs to eat dinner. Or, hey, sorry, you know, he just alerted me, I need to get out of here. You know, just anything that's an excuse to get out of situations that you don't want to be in. All right, the next is being able to know about medical events ahead of time. This is probably the second, like, number 2 thing for pros. And that's, like with me, with POTS, is one of the biggest things that was worrisome is the fact that I faint. And it's fainting, like, without any warning signs for myself that I noticed. But Aries picks up on my heart rate climbing, or picks up on the fact that I'm about to faint pretty fast. And he lets me know. And with that, I'm able to go ahead and get to a safe place. And sometimes I'm able to like completely take care of the sync-up episode, so like not pass out. Other times it's kind of like I can get close to the ground, so I'm like sitting or laying down, and then when I pass out, like I don't hit my head, which is a huge advantage, because I lost count of the amount of concussions I had from smacking my head on the ground or on a shelf, stuff like that, from like passing out. All right, so along with that is safety. If you have a service dog, you're disabled. And with having one, you have your safety, your independence, just all of that back. The biggest thing is the fact that it is a sense of safety. It's with them, they're there to protect you. That's their whole purpose, and they're amazing about it. All right, so my next pro is it's a reason to get out of bed in the morning. With me personally, like, I know anxiety, depression, just stuff like that kept me in bed a lot of the time. Like, I just wasn't interested in getting up. I was kind of like, you know, oh, the stuff I have to do today can wait. Like, you know, I can just put it off until tomorrow, or maybe the next day, or next week, you know, and I just lay there in bed, you know, skip school, stuff like that. Having a service dog, it's another living being that is depending on you. And with them, it's like, if you don't get up, then they don't eat, they don't go outside. And like, personally, like for me, knowing that this living being creature depends on me was one of the biggest, like, that's my biggest reason for getting out of bed in the morning. And it's just to take care of him, and it's kind of like he takes care of me, I can return the favor and take care of him. The next thing is communication. Like, this I know can be a double-edged sword for people. It just kind of depends on who you are, but for me, I took it as a pro, was I got better at communicating with people. And that's just because, like, you have the general public, and it's kind of like going out to the store, you're not going to encounter people that are like, oh, you know, that's a service dog. Oh, you have this? Yeah, I know what they do. You know, that's so rare, is to find somebody that actually knows what the heck they're talking about. So you're going to end up with questions from adults, from kids, from teenagers, anybody. And, you know, for me personally, I don't answer all of them. I can't. Like, that's not something that I can keep up with. But I do know I have gotten better as far as talking to the, like, people and being like, oh, you know, this is the reason I have them. This is, you know, or, you know, oh, it's Aries is a multi-purpose service dog, stuff like that. And that's something that was a huge pro for me, because I definitely sucked at communication. before I got a service dog. The next thing is if you choose to do so, you can help educate people. So with this, that's the whole reason I started a YouTube channel or and my Instagram, is because I wanted to, really educate people, show them behind the scenes of having a service dog, and really open them up to the reality of it. Another thing is getting the personally, I love this because I love my space, but it's getting the big stall or the bigger dressing room whenever you're at stores. I do know people will shove their way in and go into the disabled stall, but I know whenever I go and try on clothes or something at a store, and it's with somebody that helps you get you set up and everything, then they'll usually put us in the big stall, and that's just because of Aries' size, and it's so nice. I love it so much. So that's a pretty that's a good pro for me. All right. All right. So I'm gonna do my the cons of a service dog now. I'm gonna start with ones that were sent in by people, and then go on to my independent ones, ones that I've experienced personally. So the first one is sent in by Ruby and Cayenne on Instagram, and she said it makes dating difficult. And that's because you're limited to who's understanding and open. With this, I can speak from personal experience, is the fact that you have to find the right guy or girl, whatever your preference is, and they have to be accepting, they have to be open, they have to try and understand. I know with Michael, he was so willing to help and so willing to learn and understanding and so open as far as the fact that I have a service dog, and there's no way of hiding the fact that I'm disabled because I have a service dog. Alright, so from Jules /Blaze is people can be extremely judgmental. And that's so true, especially if you have an invisible disability, because everybody's oh, you must be deaf. No, I'm not. Well, you can't be blind. No, I'm not. Well then, you don't look disabled, so you're either training it or you're faking. Well, he's my service dog, I'm not faking. Well, you must be. No, I'm not. You just can't see what's wrong with me. Sorry. That is the biggest thing. And that's honestly, I've noticed, is mostly from older people. People that grew up with service dogs being basically just for blind and deaf people. And I'm noticing a lot of, recently I've gotten quite a few teenagers that have acted like that, but it's more of the, oh, well, I have anxiety, can I have a service dog too? Well, he's not for, not just for my anxiety. And if he was, I wouldn't have him as a service dog. I probably would have just gotten, had him as an ESA if that's what I needed, if that was the treatment that was right for me, All right. From my barrel down, racer down, Katie, is people being know-it-alls even when they're uneducated. And this is so huge, it's so many people act like they know exactly what they're talking about when it comes down to service dogs and ADA law and everything. And they're well, I know this person that has that medical illness and they don't need a service dog, so you don't either. That kind of crap. And it is very easily one of the most annoying and definitely one of the biggest cons of having a service dog. Fakes is a huge thing. So personally, I don't jump to, if I see another dog in a store, I don't automatically jump to them being a fake. I'm just oh, hey, look, it's another team. But I do know that, like in my experience, I've noticed that most of the time, if it's a fake, it's in an Amazon vest. Now, I'm not dissing on Amazon vests because, like, personally, I have one. Well, not yet. It's coming. I want it in a giveaway, you know? But I love them. I had Belle's first vest was an Amazon vest. They're amazing quality. They're great if you're on a budget, like I was and am still, especially now I am. You know, they're literally perfect vests for starting out, especially when you have a puppy that's gonna grow out of it in less than a month, you know? But I've noticed that if it's a fake, it doesn't have, you know, custom made vests or gear or anything like that. Just, you know, simple fact of the matter. And that's because most shops that make like custom service dog gear ask the 2 legal questions and can tell if somebody's faking, you know, and then they won't sell to them. So Amazon. On the broad spectrum of fakes is that they can cause your service dog to wash or have to retire. You know, I'm sorry, you can have a dog that's been working for 4 years, and that's not including training. So a 6-year-old dog that's practically bomb-proof get attacked in Walmart, and there goes 6 years of work and time with that dog. I know with Belle, she was attacked multiple times in Walmart, and we've had close, you know, very close interactions at other stores. It's not just Walmart, but there is a reason that, you know, most people in the service dog community refer to Walmart as Hellmart. But I mean, Belle was attacked by a German Shepherd in a store, and you know, I know that we got extremely lucky in the fact that she has a bunch of fur, because I'm pretty sure if that dog had latched onto Aries, it would have broken skin. But thankfully, like, the person handling the dog was like, you know, is she hurt? Like, they got the dog out of the store. This doesn't make up for the fact that they faked a service dog. Like, it was in a service dog vest and it attacked my dog. Therefore, it is a fake. You know? But that doesn't make up for it, you know, just being like, oh my God, like, are they okay? However, it does definitely help that they were trying, you know, he was trying to make sure she was okay and offering to pay for any emergency vet bills if anything needed to get done, anything like that. And I know even from like the beginning of working Belle, if I saw a dog in a store, I just, like, I steered clear. It's not like I'm walking up to them, but there are times where the other handler will come up to you and their dog can be aggressive, reactive, anything, and you can try and get away, but they'll continue to follow. Like, you can't prevent it. All right. The next thing is public access issues. This is a huge thing, especially for me, because I kind of clam up, close down, like, you know, just shut down whenever there's, you know, any public access issue, because I don't know, like, I still don't know how to react to them. You know, as far as they go, like, if I just get asked the 2 questions, then I'm like, okay, like, I've got that down, I figured that out. But, I mean, I have heard horror stories of people literally having the cops called on them because they couldn't produce a registration or ID or certification, anything like that, even though that's literally illegal to ask for. And most of the time it's a fake, unless it's through like a program, because I do know that some programs do provide an ID, but it's usually like, it just says, oh, this dog was trained under us, and then it has like ADA laws on the other side. It's not, you know, official like service dog registration. That's completely fake. It's not honored under ADA. All right. My next con is a 10-minute run into the store can end in 30 minutes. And that's just because of all the people that will stop you and question you and anything like that. You'll get stopped by employees, you'll get stopped by managers, stuff like that. You know, a run-in for eggs can take you 30 minutes at least because of everything. And for me, like, I've had to run into stores, you know, I'm like on a schedule, and it's like I need to run in here real fast so I can pick something up before I have to go here and be here at a certain time. And I have really upset some people because I have just stormed past them basically, while they're trying to ask questions. I've also been followed by people who are trying to ask questions, and I think that's definitely something that really got to me, is being personally being followed is a huge trigger for me. But it was like legit, they were like following me to try and ask a question when I'm running in to pick up one thing. All right. Another thing is being embarrassed if your dog does doggies things. So this is sniffing, trying to say hi, anything like that. I know personally I have literally had a panic attack over the fact that my dog sniffed some dog food. And that was because I was like, oh my God, if some other handler sees me, then I'm going to be deemed a fake. Like, they're going to be like, this is, this dog is the worst. It's, absolutely awful because it's sniffing. I was like, I'm going to get bombarded on Instagram because people know my account, if somebody sees me out and about and they're like, they follow me and Aries decides to act out and, act like a dog and sniff, a treat or something or a toy, they're going to be like, oh, your dog's not trained. That is something you, if you can't deal with that stress, then I'm going to say that's a huge reason to not get a service dog. Personally. Because I know I've gotten really good about, not doing that, but I know when I first got Belle, I was like, oh, I didn't realize this was such a big thing, a big part of a service dog. The next thing is finances and the cost of a service dog. And this is not just this isn't just service dogs, but this is dogs in general. You have the cost of the dog. Are you going to rescue a dog from a shelter, take your take a chance on it? Are you going to go the breeder route with a very, a reputable breeder? Are you going with a program? Is this program a free program, or is it one that, is $10,000? Are you going, just with, there's so many different things. There's your vet bills, there's food, there's emergency vet bills. With a service dog, you have gear. Now, gear isn't required. That's not something that you have to have. You don't have to have your dog marked at all under ADA. But I do know from personal experience, it is definitely way better to keep your dog marked. And that's, during the summer, most of the time I work Aries in just a leash strap. But, I have a patient, one of my patients in love leash straps, or a really lightweight vest or a harness. For dogs doing mobility, you have the mobility gear you need. You have x-rays constantly. With Aries, I'm probably going to be going in every year to 2 years to get him x-rayed, make sure his hips and elbows are still okay, make sure he's still good to do, mobility work. It's a very expensive thing. You've got cost of trainers, everything like that. Another con is it's a complete lifestyle change. For me personally, before I got a service dog, I just kind of slept in until whenever. I stayed in bed. I basically, had a pretty relaxed lifestyle. I mean, it definitely wasn't relaxing, but, what most people would look at and be like, you're lazy. The lazy lifestyle, I guess I should say. But now it's Aries is a Malamute. I have to exercise him a lot. I have to get up in the morning and walk down 3 flights of stairs and take him outside to go to the bathroom. I have to wake up and feed him, make sure he has all of the right, nutrients that he needs. I need to make sure he's in tip-top shape for service work, all of that kind of stuff. The next thing is you basically always have a child with you. I say that because it is just like having a kid with you. You pack for 2, you take care of 2. This living being creature depends on you for literally everything. You can't, forget, let's say you forget water. Well, for you, okay, you know, that's not good at all. But I mean, you've got a dog working in the heat. They can overheat. I mean, you can also, but like, you know, you got to make sure they're eating food at the certain times every day, you know, all of that kind of stuff. All right. The next thing is there's off days. Like, your dog is going to have off days. There's no getting around it. It doesn't matter how well trained your dog is. It doesn't matter if you have a program dog or an owner trained dog. Your dog is going to have off days. They're a dog, not a robot. Like, you know, if you don't want something that's going to have an off day, then get a medical device, you know, and even then there's going to be times where it glitches out. So that's technology. All right. The next thing is it's stressful. Not only for you, you know, you have to take care of your dog's health. You have to take care of, you know, just day-to-day needs with your dog, but it's stressful for your family. It's stressful for your friends. It's stressful whenever you're going out in public, just anything like that. Another thing is you can lose people in your life, friends, family, anyone. And that's just if they're not accepting and open about it. Personally, my view on it is if they're not going to honor that this is your treatment, that this is, you know, you are disabled, that you need your dog, then they don't need to be in your life. Like, if they're going to bring that sort of negativity, then you need to really evaluate if they're good or if they're just, you know, like if they're good for you, or if it is the best option to just say, bye, you know, I'm sorry if you can't accept me for who I am, then, you know, then you don't need to be here. Another thing is you have to set time aside before you go out. You can't, you know, get ready in 5 minutes. You have to set aside time to take your dog outside, to get their gear ready, to make sure they've eaten, to make sure that, you know, check the weather, see if you need a raincoat, booties, paw wax, you know, make sure you have your bowl, the treats, anything like that. Like, you know, you double basically the time that it takes you to get ready to go somewhere. And that's just how it is. All right. Okay, so that's all I have for my pros and cons video of a service dog video. I hope this helped anybody that's like considering getting a service dog, or is just starting the process of having a service dog, or anything like that. Because I know, like, actually seeing a list from another handler's perspective would have been great for me before I jumped in. But yeah, and if you have any of your own like pros and cons that I didn't mention, feel free to like leave them down in the comments and let other people see them. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Please go ahead and like and subscribe down below, and bye.